Okay, we're live. The raccoons are fed, and it's Halloween.
I hope everyone is having an extra spooky evening.
It is pretty spooky. I watched an Adam Sandler comedy. That was pretty spooky.
It's terrifying.
God, it was It was a terrifying movie. It was fun, but it was Adams. But it was. His movies are getting pretty bad lately.
I mean, that's not an achievement.
Well, I guess he's made all the money he needs to make, so that was kind of cool. Here's the man who.
I'm probably gonna watch Borat tonight.
What do you, Nathan? What do you got? Make? Oh, you're gonna watch Borat? That's really okay.
Borat 2, yeah, the one that just came out. I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't watched it yet?
Not Borat 2. I've seen the first one.
Okay, Walker. I have some advice for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do not watch the father-daughter fertility dance. Fast forward it, skip it, whatever you got to fucking do. Do not watch. Okay.
Does that have to do with Rudy Giuliani or some shit? Or?
Nope. It has something to do with something else, and you'll never unsee that shit.
All right. Well, thank you for the advice.
Yeah.
Keep it in mind.
I mean, you are part of the precious youth of our country, and we don't need that. We don't need you seeing that shit.
No corrupting the youth.
Not in that way. No, trust me. You'll see if you don't take my advice, you'll fucking say, "God damn, he warned me. I should have listened. Should have fucking listened to the old man."
How's everyone doing tonight?
Good. All right.
Pretty good.
How's your Halloween going?
Oh, boring.
Boring? Damn.
Yeah.
Rough. Yeah, mine was kind of boring. Oh, go ahead.
No, I cut you off. I was apologizing.
Oh, no, you're good. Yeah, mine was, I don't know. I've just been doing homework most of the day because all of my friends decided to go do shrooms, and I didn't really, I'm pretty straight. Really? I don't really do that. Yeah. So I've just been doing homework. I'm going to be painting my nails at probably 10:30, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, this channel does not endorse.
It doesn't endorse shrooms? What about that Kafki or whatever? Kafai.
He endorses shrooms.
He endorses shrooms for sure.
This channel does not endorse shrooms, but are you sure you can't go catch your friends?
No, that was at 4:00, so.
Oh, yeah, well, it's too late now.
Too late. So, yeah, how's everyone doing tonight? Everyone good?
Yeah.
Steve, did you like that drawing?
Oh, fuck yeah. I put it up. So.
I hope you got it in time, man.
I got it. Yeah, I got it in time. Let's see. Trying to find a way to open it. There are ways to open it. Download. Oh my god. What the fuck is wrong with this thing? Shower. Oh, it's Leo. Should we let that guy in here?
I don't know.
Fuck, I don't know. I guess so.
I don't know if my camera's working. Is my camera working?
It's fine right now.
Is my camera? Yeah, my camera's working. Awesome.
You're good right now.
There it is.
Oh my god!
We're talking about slandering the truth, huh?
Slandering the truth. Oh,
good
murdering.
Thing understanding really is, or else that would actually be accurate.
Murdering the truth.
Well, that's what he's doing. He slanders the truth.
Yeah.
Well, he takes after Hovind quite nicely.
Oh my god!
I just can't believe that you believe that dogs and mosquitoes are related.
The water. Yeah.
Water.
It is actually kind of interesting. I feel like Standing used to be much more of like a, I don't want to say Hovind clone, but he used a lot more of Hovind's arguments. But as you see his channel progress, you see him start adopting more of like the scientific quote unquote arguments from like Carter and Jeanson and stuff.
Yeah, you know that
he's always been pretty firm to Jeanson, but like yeah, he did at some point kind of like really stick to Hovind script.
Well, you know that that splattergram they have for mitochondrial DNA.
Yeah.
That Jeanson did. It's in one of Jeanson's papers, and I've been trying to find out. I think I'm going to write to Jeanson. He claims to have got the information from the 1,000 Genome Project. Well, right now, the 1,000 Genome Project has about 20,000 genomes. Mm-hmm. So in order to get the same data that he used, I want to see the data he used, and I want to know what software he used.
What are you specifically referring to?
Have you not seen the scattergram with the three Noah's fucking children?
Is it a scattergram, or is it like
it's
an unrooted
like
phylogenetic tree?
Never mind. You guys finished, but then I got something that I need to talk to Speed about. And obviously not personally, but just
it's a force graph. It looks like one of those force graphs where you can move the balls around.
Oh, like
and then it flies around until it falls into shape.
Huh.
But where the fuck is it?
I didn't see it. I don't know what he's referring to.
Well, he uses it in every debate. He shows it in every show he does, every debate. It's from Jeanson. It's the mitochondrial DNA, and he shows you where the Africans are. And he shows you how the three different groups came out of like the center, out of Noah's Ark. And it's mtDNA. You don't watch a lot of standing like I do you?
No, I don't. I have brain cells to invest.
I used to watch a little bit more. I've been kind of busy recently with like midterms and shit. But
reminds me, how did your midterm for Orgo go?
It went okay. It could have gone better.
Okay,
not as well as my Gen Chem. Huh?
C?
No, I got a B in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean it's passable. I mean, as long as I'm trying to keep it to like 1 or maybe 2 Bs a semester, and if Orgo's my B, that's fine.
Why are you allowing yourself Bs?
Because I have to delegate time at some point.
You don't get Bs. You only get A's. You know, live here no more if you get Bs. That is so racist.
When I took Orgo 1, I
shouldn't have done that.
You get A's, you can make yourself crazy. If you get a 4.0, trying to keep a 4.0 will drive you nuts.
Yeah.
So,
is it this one?
Speed, did you get the email from Nicholas?
No.
Let me read it to you. Praise, and this is obviously in regards to our debate. Praise told me that Joel has too thin of skin and he refuses to partner with Joel. I must apologize because apparently I blocked both of you, Leo and Speed, because of matters involving cuties, I suppose. I'm surprised I blocked Leo. Not that the cuties thing is not a sufficient reason. It most certainly is. So I have unblocked you both because I would like to publicly destroy you in regards to the topic of this debate. Now that I have unblocked y'all, I will be very quick to respond to emails.
Who is this?
Nicholas. But it will be Praise and myself, definitely not Joel. I have actually lost all respect for Joel. Hold on. I have actually lost all respect for Joel and have only pity for him now. But it was Praise's choice to refuse to work. Yeah. So now there's a falling out with Joel, apparently. I said, sounds good. I'll send a reminder to James. Maybe Praise does as well. Perhaps he might be quick to respond. But on Monday, actually tomorrow, I'm going to send a reminder to James about the debate. Just let him know. And I'm going to bring us all into it. And hopefully, if you respond to it, and if Nicholas responds to it, if more than just me respond to it, he might see it. He might be more apt to respond. I don't even know if anybody's fucking listening to me at this point.
I'm listening.
Oh my god,
that was hilarious. So what happened with Joel?
I have no fucking clue.
I don't know Joel and Nicholas. Because of Smokey.
Yes, because of Smokey.
What happened?
He called Smokey a Mormon.
I think that
Joel called Smokey a Mormon.
Yeah.
I think he was like joking with him and knowing Smokey. I would almost guarantee SFB Mod was trying to meme. Joel was trying to meme Smokey, and Smokey does not have. David, hop on in here. I'll put the link in the chat for you, buddy. I would almost assume that it's not an assumption. I know Smokey doesn't know when it's a meme and when it's not a meme.
Well,
he just doesn't.
I was in the midst of that when that was going on.
Smokey's knowledge of like internet culture appears to be very selective, and even then very broken.
Oh, Sal's in here. I gotta ask Sal a question. How come you didn't correct Praise and Joel the other day when they were making completely incorrect statements on quantum mechanics, especially since you were the one that was asked a question and then Joel decided to butt in and answer for you? I mean, for Christ's sake, Sal, you're literally a professional physicist. You know way more than these guys could ever hope to know.
Yeah.
So
Sal knows more than I do on physics because he's actually a professional, and I have no problem admitting when a professional knows more than me because they always do.
Isn't his training in like aerospace engineering or something?
No, he's got an, and he can correct me in the side chat if I'm inaccurate. I believe he's got a master's in applied physics and is pursuing a PhD. I don't know if it's in applied physics or it's something in physics. But yeah, no, Sal is a professional physicist.
You got quite the
And
audience
there,
tonight.
A Ron is here. How's it going, A Ron? I shouldn't do that. That's mean.
Hello, guys.
Hello, everyone. How's it going?
Hey,
Is everyone having an extra spooky night?
Is Aaron wearing a House Targaryen shirt? Because if he is, that's based as fuck. No, he's not. What the fuck?
What is that?
I don't know if he's even
Get
watched.
rid of the-
Have you watched Game of Thrones, Aaron?
My wife forced me into some of it.
You say that like you didn't like the show.
There were moments that
There were moments.
Hey, Aaron, how are you tonight?
It's all right. It's all right.
Hey, question for you. I sent you an email about talking to you about my experience with the Accelerated Christian Education curriculum. Not sure if you saw that email, but I think your viewers would find it horrifying.
Was that today?
That was a couple of days. That was a while back, a couple of weeks ago. If you want, I can give you a little bit of a preview of it.
Sure. Fill me in.
All right, sure. So Accelerated Christian Education, if you can consider that, is a fundamentalist group, fundamentalist cults curriculum designed in Texas, surprise, surprise, that I am making my way over now. They dub themselves the School of Tomorrow, which is quite ironic. The students are forced pretty much all day to sit in office cubicles and basically read from their pace. I'll show you what these paces look like. They look like this. Packets of Accelerated Christian Education. So these are basically what would be considered a chapter or whatever in a actual textbook. This is actually one of those science paces. Students are forced to memorize a Bible passage and all of their paces. And they have these little cartoons throughout these paces. And it's just horrible. And they just shove Jesus down their throats every single fucking page. Let's see here. There was one case that I was looking at.
Holy shit! Look at the prices on these.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's the point. They're grifters. What do you expect?
If only there was a Jesus who could be
Right.
Who could
Yeah,
deliver
they have an
textbook
entire piece actually on debunking.
Well, I mean, I do know a guy who's Jewish and is a magician. So, I mean, does he count? I got some jokes. Only some.
Yeah. So here's what is in one of their science pieces, where they have to fill in the blank stuff. Fact means a thing we know is true. It is a fact that Jesus loves us.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, and I'm not.
We don't know that's true. That's
exactly. And I really wish I was making this up, but I'm not. And this text is following basically about butterflies and stuff like that. At the very end of the piece, and I wish I was making this up, they actually say this. Just as a butterfly has a new life after it leaves the pupa stage, you have a new life too. You have a new and clean heart since you trusted Jesus. Jesus gives you a new and clean heart to those who trust in him. And this is actually in a fucking science textbook. I wish I was making this up.
So what is it specifically for?
It's for teaching kids homeschooling.
Homeschooling. AIG also releases their own homeschooling
video series. Give me some information so I can get direct links to these so I can get full high res images and all that.
Yeah, and if you want, I can buy a couple pieces for you and send them your way. That
I don't want you to waste any money at all on this. But
well, don't you have some? You went through this when you were a kid, right, David?
Yeah, and kind of revisiting it, and I just wish I was making this up.
I remember in our discussion, David, when we were talking astrophysics and cosmology, you read some snippets.
Yeah.
Some of the statements they made were just
was not even wrong.
They were so far below the scale of wrongness that it's like if you could like look at the people who wrote this, I would say you're not wrong. It's not that you're right. It's that you're so fucking far off from what the subject even touches. I can't say that what you're saying is wrong.
Okay, sure. So, I'll actually, let me show you some of these cartoons real quick.
This weekend, I'm uploading a 3-part series, roughly 2 hours of video, taking apart Nephilim Free's opening comment in your debate.
Oh, cool.
Which one, my debate?
I know exactly what comment you're talking about.
Wait, what did you debate him on?
Me?
Yeah, what debate was it that Nephilim Free was in, where he was like bringing up like the mammalian ear bones from marsupials and shit?
I'm pretty sure that was my debate when he was talking about the stapes in the ear. Yeah, that was creationism versus evolutionary theory. And last night, because when I was in the debate, I thought that my opener was all right, but that I could have done way better. And I'm sure because we can always do better. But last night, I actually re-listened to it. I think I knocked it out of the fucking park with my introduction, not to sound too pretentious, because it was succinct, made the point, and it was palatable for a lay audience, and all of a sudden I'm not on the camera anymore. Fucking Christ.
I have to go.
Yeah.
I have to go, guys.
All right. Well, you have a great Halloween.
Hey,
Thank you
thanks
much.
for stopping in.
Speed, I'm going to go backstage. Bring me back in, because that's apparently the only fucking way to fix this problem.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. David.
Yeah, I wish I was reading
nice.
this up. Looks good. These are some of the cartoons. Too weird, a little. I mean, they're teaching them at a young age to basically not like their body or what's stuff.
Too little to wear. Oh, my God.
The last panel of that is really disturbing.
Yeah, it is. And I remember this cartoon pretty much when I was reading these pieces. Let's see. And these cartoons had various names, and and not surprisingly, the black, the white, and the Asian kids all go to separate schools. These are what is being taught to homeschoolers, and they are used in church schools. And some of these are actually funded by taxpayer dollars, which really pisses me off.
Hey, look, when Mr. Truewood, when Mr. Truewood told us what to do, I listened. Mr.
They have these names like
Truewood, what did Mr. Truewood tell him to do?
That
That's
name
what I
sounds
wanna
so
know.
Oh my
bad.
God, what's that Jack Chick? Have y'all ever seen like the Jack Chick?
What's that? Hey, that word building one. I'm sorry. That word building one.
Yeah, someone did that. Someone made a.
I learned off those. when I was a kid.
Interesting.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
it's a
So
home
you
store.
so you're familiar with the curriculum basically a little bit.
Yeah.
God.
Oh yeah.
That's some scary shit. Scary
Wait,
shit.
so were you like Young Earth Creationist homeschooled or?
Yes.
Oh,
You were too. Wow.
Oh wow!
Wow, we should get a
Small world.
self-help group together for you guys.
Oh, I'm not.
Okay.
Same glasses too?
Look at me, Speed. I'm not damaged.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Just got a little twitch. Yeah.
Start to look like what's his name? What's his name from the Pink Panther movie? Inspector Clouseau's boss.
Yeah.
Development.
Yeah. That was pretty good. So
when I
Sean
was-
Connery died, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who the
Yeah,
fuck
listen.
gives a shit? He was a misogynistic fuck. I don't care.
Who
Hey, man.
cares?
But he was,
He was
But he
Sir
was-
Sean Connery.
when a
I
growing up,
don't give a
that
fuck.
was
who it
our
was.
misogynistic.
He
old
was
fuck.
a misogynistic. Fuck him. I don't care that he died.
Well,
Good riddance.
that pretty much covers Hollywood, doesn't it?
That's crazy.
I know, right?
No, it fucking doesn't. Just
By the
pretty
way,
much cover.
I didn't
Hollywood.
know he was 90.
Yeah.
Fuck, yeah. Did you know that Netflix now has a new movie rating, NRN and cuties?
Really?
What the fuck
Yeah.
does NRN
I always
mean?
find it funny when the people in the movie can't watch the movie they're in.
Exactly. I find that ironic in a way.
Did Nicholas Whitmire was Nicholas Whitmire responsible for that new rating?
What
think
does
probably.
NRN mean?
NR, not rated. I don't know what the fuck the other one is. I don't know. Not rated X. You know they have R, and now cuties is way over on the right side of that. It's like far to the right
The
of
funny
X.
thing is, anybody who's actually seen that movie knows it is not nearly as bad as like everybody tries to make it out to be.
They should have rated it
Most
Nicholas
people
Whitmire.
making it out to be that bad
NW.
and seen it or haven't finished it.
No one named Nicholas should watch. Did you see the Borat movie has no one under 3 is not suitable for anyone
Yes,
under 3
very
years
beginning.
old?
Mm-hmm.
Walker's gonna watch it tonight. I told him not to watch the fucking father-daughter fertility scene. If anybody knows what I mean.
Oh, that scene is hilarious.
Oh, it's just fucking horrible. I can't unsee that shit. Oh
my God.
Now, how does he do that? Did he really do that at one of those
Yeah.
southern?
Yes.
How the fuck did they put up?
Are
with
you
it?
talking about the first one or the second one?
Second
No, the new one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the second one.
What did he do?
He went to one of these father-daughter southern ball things where they take their daughters and they don't they
Like Cotillion?
they pledge themselves
Oh,
to
yeah. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil that.
No, they pledge themselves to purity, and then the father and the daughter dance.
Mm.
And
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
disgusting.
How in the
That's
fuck did he?
the-
How
it's
how
like
does he get people
snowballs and shit.
to go with him as far as he does?
Because
Well,
those a lot of the times the people don't know that they're filming a movie.
Well, but
Lucius,
one
what the
that-
fuck, Lucius?
Yeah, I know. It keeps lagging, and I didn't know if my mic was working at first, but now it is.
Oh, are you a Mutables friend?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
What's your social security number
you had a different
and
name.
address?
Yeah, and your address and
I feel like everyone knows what Sacha Conan Barrett looks like at this point. Like
Sacha Cohen Baron.
Barrett.
Sacha
Baron
Baron Cohen.
Baron
Whatever his
Cohen.
name, that guy. You
Oh,
know,
no,
if I saw him on the
Baron
street, though, I
Cohen.
would still be able to recognize him. You know,
Nobody
like,
actually knows what his name is, though.
It's Sasha Baron or Sasha Cohen.
especially if he's
Sasha
walking
Baron
around
Cohen.
going, "I am come from Kazakhstan."
I'll put it in the private
There's
chat.
some
I
shit.
know what it is because he's fucking.
The fucking country is they're gonna make war on us if he keeps doing movies.
But yeah, I don't know. I still think it's crazy how that Rudy Giuliani scene got filmed. Like,
How the
It's
fuck did
Rudy
he-
Giuliani. How are you not surprised? Like, how are you surprised by that?
I was watching an interview with him, and they actually built a hideaway in the closet for him to stay in there, and he was on his phone.
Wow.
oh my God.
When the security came in, to do a sweep of the hotel before they started conducting the interview, he was already in there.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And at that protest, at that rally that they were holding, when he's up there singing that song, he was wearing a bulletproof vest.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. What kind of rally was that at?
I think it was
You talking about the second film?
yeah, it's the second film.
I thought you were talking about the first film when he goes to like the big Texas rodeo or whatever it was, and he sings the national anthem of the
the rodeo, the Kazakhstan rodeo.
Kazakhstan is the greatest country in the world.
Oh my god.
The most pure or the purest forms of potassium. Yeah.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
the countries.
Have inferior potassium.
Potassium.
There you go, Jay and David. Did you read Vesta's comment?
What was that?
You two are on suicide watch.
Oh God. Yeah,
Shocking.
that does not surprise me whatsoever. Religion poisons everything, and I stand by that comment.
Well, my high school physics teacher, elder
Holy
teacher,
shit.
they were all shop teachers, so I should be on suicide watch myself.
Out of all of my subscribers, there are 9 of them live right now. That's a lot, actually.
None
Wow.
of them live. Well,
Yeah.
How do you know?
who subscribes to you?
Because I can know out of the people that I am subscribed to, 9 of them are live right now.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's a
This
big
channel doesn't have too many people.
Oh, you mean here?
I know Vice Rhino is live because he just
Yeah.
did a face reveal. Standing for Truth is
Ragnar
live.
is live. Modern Day Debate is live. We're
Oh,
live.
fucking Stanley's
Vic
live?
is live. Vice Rhino is live. SFT is live. Neil 604 Atheist, Team Skeptic, and Drunken Peasants.
Smokey's doing a thing on witches tonight, which ought to be.
Oh
good.
boy.
Does he believe witches are a thing?
On women,
Probably.
Hey, Dr. Dan. I see you in the sidebar chat. How are you, Dr. Dan?
Hello.
Dan.
Someone
I
get
hope you're
Dr.
having a
Dan the link.
spooky evening.
Let's give him the link. See if he wants to come on in.
Or how many do I have in here?
He's usually pretty busy on weekends.
Yeah, he's usually got family stuff.
Weekend. So why don't he? Oh, never mind.
Wow, Lee, you
How
and
did
I,
you do?
we're on a ball.
Hey, I'm good. Hey, Dr. Dan, I don't know if you're going to come in or not, but there was actually a paper that I did a video on this a couple hours ago about it. They basically claimed that
Be right back.
amulets could protect you from COVID-19. Spoiler alert, it can't. It just really irritated the fuck out of me when I...
Who is that fucking the pastor that looks like he's either had so many iterations of plastic surgery or he's actually Kenneth Copeland. All right. So Kenneth Copeland, did y'all see the video of him like blowing the virus away or some shit?
Yes.
Oh, God.
No, I did
Yeah,
not.
mega churches are easily one of the biggest factors in why the U.S. is one of the worst places.
Hey, Dr. Dan.
Hey,
Ross
Dr.
wanted-
Dan.
Hey, Dr. Dan.
I spent the day following.
Hey, Dr. Dan is here.
I spent the day
Everyone
following
has to
your
say it.
buddy.
Hey, Dr. Dan. Hey, Dr.
Hey,
Dan,
Nav.
question for you real quick.
Yeah, I heard about that crystal paper with the COVID stuff, and it makes my
really
head
pissed me off.
hurt.
Yeah, I know. I actually did a video on it just ranting about it. It just really pissed me the fuck off that this is dangerous pseudoscience that could get people killed.
Yeah.
This is not the time to be publishing stuff like that.
I mean, there's a lot of pseudoscience out.
Yeah. And by the way, just a quick shout out. If you're in the United States on November 3rd, please, for the love of all fucking God, vote for Joe Biden.
Unless you already voted. And then
I
it won't be
Don't
November
vote for
3rd.
Joe Biden. Just vote against the fascist, i.e., vote
Voted.
for Joe Biden.
Voted 7 times.
What?
I voted once for Trump just so they didn't catch on, and the other
And the
6 for
six.
Biden.
Well, I do know
That way they
that
don't know.
conservative justices on the the 8th Circuit Court ruled that for the state of Minnesota, for
I know.
for any mail-in
Fucking-
ballots to count, they have to be turned in by 8 p.m. on election night.
8 p.m. What the fuck is wrong
Something
with
like that. Yeah.
In Minnesota,
Yeah, it was-
how the hell
it
did that
was-
happen?
Any late
go back to the
arriving
question.
ballots.
You
How
know,
did
to
that
the,
happen in Minnesota? Oh my god. Okay,
You don't
I'm
want to
linking-
know. You don't want to know what they did in Harris County, Texas.
Oh, I saw
I know-
that.
I
yeah.
know-
What happened?
what did they
What
do?
happened is the Republican Party is essentially trying to state that 100,000 quote unquote curbside ballots need to be thrown out. And the judge they want to take up the case is a hyper-partisan conservative, and he's calling an emergency meeting on the matter on Monday.
Monday morning didn't even wait to get briefs from the other side.
Yep.
Just
Harris
God.
County, yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't wait for any briefs from Harris County on it.
You know, as a person who had to get a mail-in ballot from Alabama, getting an absentee ballot from a conservative state is a bitch. It's awful.
yeah, everyone make sure you know what the rules are, and if you have a mail ballot and you haven't mailed it yet, don't turn it into your elections office.
I actually dropped mine off.
If you can.
I mailed mine a month ago, so
Yeah, I actually dropped mine off, and I got an email today from my state board of elections saying that my ballot was counted. So, yay!
You're good.
One reason
Yep.
why I love Maryland.
That's
Maryland does good stuff like that.
when my wife and I moved out here to California, and we got our license, our driver's license, and all of our stuff transferred over here. I remember filling out the form. It said mail-in ballot. Would you like to vote by mail? And I was like, heck yeah. That was 2015. But yeah, this year we made sure to vote, and we signed up for that little thing, and we got the email saying confirmed. So our votes counted. I
I suppose
voted.
if I play
voted
this, I'm going to get a copyright strike.
I voted for Trump.
No.
So, yeah, I got copyright strikes, 2 of them on one video for playing SNL and playing that spider video. I had,
well, we commented on the SNL video, and we commented on the spider video.
they didn't give a shit. I didn't even. I only played like a few clips out of that spider video, and they fucking nailed me. They got me. Did Dr. Dan leave?
No,
there
it's
you
not.
go. He's still here.
He's just
I'm
covered
here.
by the banner.
I think
There's an
I'm
Ian in
just,
front of him.
I'm not
There's-
risking it.
there's not enough. It's fine. Nobody needs to see me. It's fine.
There's a
It's whatever.
hey Speed. There is a setting so that when those
Front and
banners,
center.
when you have those banners come up, it'll shift the video up.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
in
by
your
the way,
it's in
I
your
think
settings.
Boomer know how to do that.
By the way, Dr. Dan, do you know if Standing for Truth has ever made any blatant academic dishonesty like Romat has?
Well, hang on one second. Because I have. There's a lot of not good in this book.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Oh yeah, actually he has, and I know what it is. He has repeatedly. Repeatedly stated.
Let me show you guys this notification I just got on my phone. Let me show you the sexy background first. Hold on. What the fuck?
What is the notification say?
I can't read that. What is it?
Hold on.
Oh, he's having an after show.
Yeah, second one he's had since his little hiatus from being spanked by Matt without even having to debate him.
Standing repeatedly has said untrue things about encode findings, and not like
I would have never guessed.
Right.
He's a liar.
Well, the thing is, it's in writing, which makes it like stand out. Is that it's like there's specifically he's saying 80% transcribed. It's not 80% transcribed. Saying 80 some odd percent like with a documented function. That's not true. And he makes different claims in different parts of this book and conflicting claims, but equally not true claims in different parts.
I can do that too.
So yeah, there's one for you right there. But he's never, to my knowledge, deceivingly edited a video like Raw Matt has, or submitted a paper, or like claimed a thing was in a journal when it wasn't. So
or anything plagiarism or anything like that. I mean, I chalk it up to him not understanding the actual science.
I can go for that once. You read the encode paper, you kind of read the press releases, which are contradictory in some cases, the paper versus the press release. But after being corrected on it a bunch of times, you should stop repeating the wrong version.
Well, with press releases, doesn't that happen occasionally because sometimes the press release or the paper is finalized and like actually submitted?
Yeah, and the authors like to, hype it up. So you actually have like encode authors going on and saying, we've documented 80% functionality when like they haven't done that.
Yeah. Well, and also like pop sci journals are known for exaggerating anything because the authors generally don't have a background in the field.
Exactly. 100%.
I have a question with that. I can't ignore that now. Leo, I think, posted on his Twitter like an article about what was it? I think it was something about spiral galaxies and like maximum entropy. But that wasn't the issue I found. The issue I found was within the article itself, which they were commenting or trying to describe the second law of thermodynamics, which they didn't do properly. They said they said something akin to like the total entropy of the system cannot decrease, which is actually false.
Well, it depends on the type of system you're describing. The total entropy of an open system can do whatever the fuck it wants. For a closed or isolated system, it has to decrease.
No. So the total entropy of a system can increase as long as as the total entropy of its surroundings increase.
But not if it's isolated from those surroundings.
Yeah, but they're confusing entropy with the basically complexity or combining of atoms. And I mean, we know that atoms combine. If you use table salt, you know that fucking atoms combine. I mean, they always, their claim is basically things can't get more complex, that it has to break down, it has to go one way. And what the fuck?
And usually with total entropy, they mean total entropy, not.
Okay. So today I spent all morning standing for truth. His criticism is.
Dr. Dan, I have a very quick question for you.
Okay, I guess I don't get to ask my question. But go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Dr. Dan, question for you.
Go for it.
How exactly, what software do you use to make your videos where you have the PowerPoint and have your face
I do OBS.
Using OBS?
Yeah, I do OBS.
Are you wanting to learn how to use OBS, David?
Yes, because I want to make some videos.
All right,
similar
I will let MathPig know. Dr. Dan, I have a question for you. If you really are a doctor, I'm just fucking with you. What do you have your degree in?
It's molecular genetics and microbiology is what the degree is technically in.
Your BA or your PhD?
And the thesis was on viral evolution. It's about how cytosine affects the evolution of single-stranded DNA viruses.
Wonderstanding knows more than you. You know?
Oh shit! Catholic traditionalist is in the side chat, but nobody cares because he's a dumb.
Anyway,
and if
I
anybody
spent all day looking for this clip. Go ahead, Dan.
I was just gonna say, if anybody is really interested in codon bias in single-stranded DNA viruses, I'm your guy.
Okay.
There's like 5 people that care, and one of them is me.
I care.
I'm assuming Catholic traditionalist is going to be like, so which one of you atheists thinks you can take on Darth Dawkins?
Who's Catholic traditionalist? Is he in this chat or?
Darth Dawkins is actually an idiot.
Oh, I see Sal's here too. Hey, Sal.
He's
That's
an
a
idiot.
hell of an argument.
I mean, Sal is
foolish.
definitely not an idiot, but Catholic traditionalist definitely is.
Will you guys let me play my clip? I looked all day.
I would love.
Go for it. Yeah, I haven't watched any of these SFT videos, so
Okay, I spent all day watching these because he levels this argument against me that I never argue with his actual points, or I never come up with a good criticism. But the problem is that I can't find a point that he made, and I looked at all his videos today, and this is the only thing I came up with where he actually made a point.
Catholic traditionalist. I asked Mr. Batman what a complex number was. He didn't know that, so I can guarantee you he doesn't know shit about
Mr. Batman, I call him Mr. Fish Gallop Strawman. I like Mr. Batman personally, but he is Dish Galloper.
Playing a clip. It's 2 minutes long. No foreskins.
Okay.
All right, let's.
They don't want to see this evidence. The evidence is presented to them. The arguments are provided.
What?
Yeah, let's just run it at regular speed.
Huh?
I said, let's just run it at regular. Why does everybody speed it up? Like, who gives a shit?
I had it speeded up because I was trying to listen to it all.
Nobody's got
It
that.
goes in one ear and out the other. Okay, because admitting that the science is consistent with the Bible's account of human origins means now they have to take the Bible as true. And the Bible has a lot of rules. The Bible is where we look to for salvation. And because admitting that the science is consistent with the and the Bible has a lot of rules.
Stop. Time out. Hold on. Let me just point out that this is the same old atheists just want to do whatever they want.
Yeah, I'll just want to say that's worked so many times in the past.
And the thing is, many Christians, probably the majority of Christians, have no problem with evolution. It's just a fringe view. Just because it's not an either-or fallacy. It's the first foundational fallacy of creationism, which I'm still working on that series. It's just very irritating. It's just one of their favorite lies. It's a lie.
I did want to say
the Bible has a lot of
about the whole atheists just want to sin. This is what I'm going to say about that. If rubbing peanut butter on your crotch and having your dog lick it off is wrong, well, then hell, I don't want to be right.
Well, maybe in Iowa the laws are different, but okay.
Okay, Leo.
I think that is wrong, actually.
No, it's definitely wrong.
I don't know. Does the dog give a shit? I mean, he licks his own balls,
All right. Let's try to finish this clip.
Oh, that is a clip. That's all I have.
That was it. That was the whole argument.
The atheists just want to
rules.
Yeah, this
the
is
Bible. And the Bible has a lot of.
No. Wait,
hold on. The Bible has a lot.
Pause this. You have to fucking pause this because I'm about to go the fuck off. Catholic traditionalist, I have told you, I don't know how many times on YouTube and on Pal Talk, I am more than willing to debate Darth Dawkins. You can type my name into YouTube. You can go to my channel. You can get the link to my email. You can send it to Darth Dawkins, and you can have him come to me. I'm not going on his Discord server where he goes all mute happy with his little fucking button because that's the only way he ever wants to debate people, so he can silence them whenever they challenge him on the dumb fucking shit he says. So if your little bitch, pussy, bitch, boy, bitch wants to debate anybody, he can come to fucking me. Otherwise, shut the fuck up, get his dick out of your fucking mouth, and go the fuck away.
But by the way,
if you're not going to do that, then feel free to give him my motherfucking email because ain't nobody fucking scared to debate his little bitch ass.
Darth Dawkins is just extremely disingenuous.
And I've made him rage quit.
Can I just say, I really enjoy watching / participating occasionally in these discussions every weekend. Can we tone it down just a little bit?
Yeah. Leo does. We're looking for a switch, Dan. We're looking for a switch on Leo, and we can't find it.
It's
We
right
can't
next
find
to
it.
I hate an electric shock
it's
collar,
right
man.
next to the prostate, or is that the on switch?
I think maybe it's this mute button here, this mute looking thing here.
You know, we need a shock collar.
Good luck.
So
okay,
of
Dr.
the people,
Dr. Dan, are you brave enough to put the shock collar on Leo if we buy one?
No comment.
I'll butter myself up.
Just out of so who like Speed? Did you actually like watch all the SFT response videos? Because I saw there were like 3 already, and they're long. And
Erica or what?
Yeah,
I ran through them at 2 times speed, and then I got distracted. I went down a rabbit hole. I got one of Jeanson's papers. Then I started looking up the papers that referred to.
Also, evolution is a fact is a Poe. Okay, evolution is a fact is a Poe. We just need to be clear about that. Thank you.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's a Poe? Like to someone?
It's a fake. It's a creationist fake account.
Ah, okay.
I got to give evolution as fact. I want to give you a wrench evolution. If I can't find the exact video you're looking for because he put out like 6 in the last few days. So if you could help me out.
But I can address the pedigree thing though. That's really easy to address.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
What it is what Jeanson and everyone claims is that if you look at the mutation rate from parent to child, right? It doesn't matter what part of the genome you're looking at. Mito, Y chromosome, it doesn't matter. You look at parent to child, you can count up the differences, right? And you could say, okay, let's take that rate and apply it backwards. And over many generations, you could say, okay, how many total mutations in a certain number of generations should you get, right? And then what Jeanson does is he says, well, given whatever pedigree rate of mutations in the mitochondria, you work that backwards and you end up with the observed divergence in all human mitochondria. You accumulate that degree of divergence in approximately 6,000 years. That's what Jeanson does. And the problem is that you can't just go one to the next and apply that over long periods of time because you have lots of steps that filter out mutations. So just going from one person to the next, most of the differences in a parent don't get passed to the offspring because most of those differences are not in the germline cells, right? The ones that do get passed, some of those get weeded out in subsequent generations due to that same subsequent changes and then into their germline bottleneck. You have competition in the gametes where, sure, if there's a mutation in a germline cell and then 1 million sperm have that mutation, well, there's 10 million sperm that maybe don't have it, and maybe one of those wins, right? So you get gamete competition. Then you have generation to generation. You've got selection. You've got drift for everything except the Y chromosome and mitochondria. You've got inbreeding. So you have all these other factors that decrease over time the rate of at which mutations are going to persist in the population. And I think it was CRISPR-Cas9 had a really good analogy for this, is that in Erica's long video, is that that pedigree rate is the maximum rate, right? But this is what Jeanson is saying is, okay, that rate applies all the time. And that's insane. That's, if I have a car, the analogy that CRISPR used is if you have a car that goes 120 miles per hour and how fast can you get across town that's 5 miles away? It's not at 120 miles per hour, right? There's traffic lights, there's traffic, there's pedestrians, there's turns, there's stop signs. You're going to slow down at various things. And that's what's going on with the mutation accumulation. A bunch of mutations happen. Some subset get passed on. The smaller subset are going to, or I should say, some subset could be passed on. The smaller subset actually get passed on. Of those, a smaller subset are still present 5, 10, 100 generations later. So what you see is this, you see the maximum rate, and then it asymptotically approaches the long-term substitution rate. That's the rate of fixation at which a mutation becomes present in 100% of a population. And it starts off very high, and then it decreases over generations. So what creationists do is they say, oh, evolutionists are invoking mutation rate slowdown. They're saying mutation rate was slower in the past than it is now. That's a straw man. It's not the case. What we're correctly saying is that the mutations that occur get weeded out over generations. So the 1 generation rate that you can observe between parents and offspring is irrelevant when you're talking about 3, 5, 10, 100, 1,000 generations. That's why they're wrong on that one. It's simple. It's like a basic error, and the fact that like they keep making that argument is like discrediting. It's just silly.
Yeah, it's and they keep insisting that pedigrees are observable and therefore more reliable.
The long-term rate's observable too.
And if you look at pedigrees across different populations, sometimes you'll find 0 mutations. Other times you'll find 160, and it's kind of like rolling dice. It's just ridiculous.
And Jeanson cherry picks in his papers on this. He throws out different things that have 0, but not always. Sometimes he includes the ones with 0, because if he includes the wrong mix of data sets, then he'll get a rate sometimes that's too fast, and he'll end up with a convergence time of like 4,000 years or 3,000 years. So Jeanson actually cherry picks the ones with 0 to kind of selectively include or exclude them to get his rate right where he wants it. If he was totally inclusive, he would get a different rate. And he also cherry picks the source data in that the papers he likes to use, like that Parsons paper, that's an outlier on the low end. Other people that do that same technique end up with dates that are anywhere from a few thousand years longer to I think it's like almost an order of magnitude. So it's like 60,000 versus 6,000.
We have a question from somebody in the audience.
Also, someone's eating chips or some shit right now.
And needs to stop. Stupid Horror Energy asks, why would you assume that the mutation rate at the D loop would apply to the entire mitochondrial genome?
Right.
You wouldn't. That's silly.
Yeah.
Because part of the mitochondrial genome has genes and the D loop doesn't. So there's different levels of constraint. So the long-term rate is different between those regions. You wouldn't do that. They're different. Like they're just different.
Yeah, there was something Speed was talking about earlier. Apparently, like a mitochondrial phyletic tree that's unrooted that Standing likes to use.
Oh yeah,
taken from Jeanson or something, right?
Sneak preview. That's my next video.
Oh really?
Soon.
Yeah.
I'm doing stupid 3-node thing for the
Oh yeah.
Okay. That's my deck. Yeah.
By the way,
it's just extremely misleading because it's unrooted, right?
It's right. So if you root it, you end up with 2 of the nodes nested within the 3rd one.
Yeah.
Okay, this thing.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
What I've been trying to do is I would like to get his data and the software that he used to generate this with. Where did this come from?
Oh, you can get that from Evograd. Actually, did it on his series.
Yeah, I have that pulled up.
It's on part 6. He actually redoes this. With the data and the software, he actually redoes it.
Is that a force graph? Can you move that around any way you want?
Well, it's not. So it's just an unrooted phylogenetic tree, right? So it's not the cladogram style that you always see, but it's still the same data that would otherwise be in a phylogenetic tree.
Yeah, but
there's just no base to it, so it just looks like a circle almost.
But there had to be a piece of software that did this actual graph. That's what I want to know.
I forget, but yes, there is.
Okay, so Evograd would know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will look that up.
Yeah, it's in the. There's the link in the public chat. Just that's it's part 6 of that series. Here.
Yeah, that's the link to part 6 as well.
And
it's
he has
halfway down.
Yeah, it's in there.
All right, can I go now?
Go where?
Go for it.
David, I added you. I don't know how often you're on Twitter, but if you go on Twitter, you'll get a notification that I added you to a group, OBS/SLOBS, and we're going to be scheduling a meeting with MathPig, me, you, Speed, and Nakasuchi the Rage, and he's going to teach us how to use OBS Studio.
OBS Wizard.
That would be fantastic. Yeah, I just saw that now. Just send you guys a message. That would be fantastic. I would love to learn OBS and learn. I am. First, I know I spoke about it before. I'm creating a series on the foundational fallacies of creationism. It'll be really nice to actually learn how to.
That'll be cool.
Do more of these things. It's kind of like these. What I'm doing in this series is kind of explaining the foundational fallacies, the actual logical fallacies behind the actual arguments.
Wait, so what is Jeanson's specific disagreements with the cladogram? Why does he prefer to use like the unrooted, like circular?
So he uses an unrooted tree because his idea is that in the unrooted tree you get 3 nodes, and what he is saying is those 3 nodes, because this is the mitochondria, so it's maternally inherited, which means you get a bottleneck for mitochondrial DNA with n equals 3 at the flood for each of Noah's sons' wives, right? So what he's saying is you've got these 3 nodes here on this tree, and each node represents one of those wives. Now, the way you have to make it unrooted, like the reason it has to be unrooted is if you root it, then you end up with two of those nodes nesting within the other one. So you end up like they're within a lineage instead of separate lineages, and it doesn't work with that 3 individual bottleneck. So if you show it, and this is on Evograd's thing, he shows it's figure 7 on that link that's in the chat. He shows translating between the unrooted and the rooted, and when you root it, you end up with, because Jeanson actually claims midpoint rooting, so it would be the middle of those 3 nodes. And when you do that, you get basically the middle node, and then that branches, and then the other 2 nodes as descendants of that middle node. And you do that for any part on the tree. If you root it and say this branch represents the ancestor, that sets a directionality through the rest of that tree, and those 3 nodes necessarily become descendants of one another, depending on the orientation of where you put the common ancestor by rooting the tree. So Jeanson needs to show it as an unrooted tree in order to preserve that 3 lineage structure coming out of the flood bottleneck.
Yeah. So I get that. I was just asking, like, what's his specific reasoning for using an unrooted tree? Like, is it because he doesn't accept?
No, that's his reasoning.
Oh,
Like,
it's just because it
that's
gives
the
him the answer he wants.
Like it's
Oh my God.
if he roots it, you can't get the answer because
I was wondering if he was going to say
because
like, oh god.
Because remember, it's mitochondrial lineages, right?
Mhm.
So they are nested within each other, right? I always forget the letters and the numbers, but like
L6 I think is the most basal.
right? It's like L, and then the other ones are rooted within L.
Mhm.
But if you do an unrooted tree, you can set them as separate things, right? That's why Jeanson does it that way, because there's no way to get the answer he wants where you have a bottleneck of 3 distinct lineages and then everything is in 3 monophyletic groups. You can't do that if you root it. So he has to make an unrooted tree, and that allows him to like draw dotted lines around parts of it and be like, here are the 3 lineages. Like that's
I was just wondering if he chose to not root it because he doesn't accept like human chimp common ancestry.
No,
or
there's
something.
nothing. Nope, nothing.
There's
to
no
do with
reason.
that.
Yeah, okay.
Nope.
Literally just because he gives him the result he
Literally,
wants.
You can't get 3 non-nested nodes the way Jeanson needs to if you root it.
I gotta ask Dan a quick question here. Do you like teach somewhere or do research somewhere, or are you kind of doing your own thing?
So it's super not a secret at this point. So I teach at Rutgers.
Oh, yeah.
So I actually do. I do the general biology course there. So I have I have a lot of students every semester.
For sure.
And then, but in the summer, then I do 2 evolution courses every summer, and those are small. Those are like 10, 20 people. So I have like 900 people every fall and like 600 to 700 every spring, and then I have like 20 every summer.
Yeah, I would love to. I'd love to go to RU.
Do most professors do some sort of teaching in the summer, or does it really depend on the institution?
It depends on what you want to do. So my summer gig is kind of separate. So it's an interesting. And by the way, Speed, I apologize if this is kind of derailing what you want to talk about. Don't let me kind of hijack.
No,
the
I'm sorry. I had to know. No,
it's all good.
He sounds like a teacher.
I got nothing tonight. So
no,
you go
literally,
ahead.
this is to the point where some of the slides I use on the channel are modified versions of the slides I use in class.
Ooh, awesome.
And especially for the Evolution for Creationist series, a lot of that is like 90% of like my class stuff that I've just chopped up in different ways. So my job title is actually really unique. So my job title is assistant teaching professor. So I'm full-time teaching. Rutgers is pretty unique in having that. And then we also have assistant research professors that are full-time research people. And then there's also people that do both. But that's a relatively unique situation. Most people
welcome Andrew
have to do both. But I'm really lucky in that I don't have to run a lab right now. I just get to teach, which makes me very happy.
I see. I would love to like get a PhD in astrophysics with an emphasis, theoretical astrophysics with an emphasis on cosmology, and then teach at like Cambridge or the Imperial College London or MIT. It'll never happen, but a guy can dream, right?
Well, go for it anyway. Why not?
I'm thinking about it. I just don't think I'd get into Harvard. And the only reason I want to go to Harvard is because I don't want to get an undergraduate degree and then go graduate. And with Harvard, and you might know this, being within the realm of academia, at Harvard with certain subjects, you can go through what's called their advanced standing program. And if you do that with astrophysics, you can get a master's degree in 4 years. And so that sort of so that sort of fast tracks you to potentially getting like a PhD or something.
Yeah, nice.
And then you can kind of get into the teaching or research, whatever you want to do.
I will tell you.
I will say though. Go
ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's not just Harvard though. I got accepted to a fast track program at UAB or something.
Other places do it. Harvard is like the #1 school in the world for astrophysics, astronomy. So I mean,
I will say though, overrated.
Oh no, they're definitely overrated, 100%.
Yeah, all of the here's the thing.
Screw Ivies.
All of these Ivy League schools are so overrated. I mean, even University of Maryland and RU are pretty much Ivy League.
I will say, and I'm clearly biased, but I will say that our program, like, I would put it side by side with Princeton, Harvard, any of them, and like we'll stand up. Like we are. Me and my colleagues, we are on the ball. We have designed this course to be like really, really nice. And the way we set it up and the way it flows and the way we have this kind of the student active, like we're really on the ball here. I would put up what we do against any other course anywhere in the world in terms of like an intro biology thing.
Yeah. And also
I'm really proud of what we put together.
A lot of times when schools already have like a really good reputation, it gives them an excuse to slack off in said departments, and normally their intro courses in those departments kind of suck. Like my school is sort of known for its medical school, and so therefore the intro bio classes are like,
Right. You want to have the key thing that I think is that you want to have people that are interested in doing it. And what a lot of schools do is they kind of rotate people through the intro courses. So like you do like a high level course and an intro course, and then like you're not super interested in doing the intro course if you're doing that. But like you need to have people that are like this is what I want to do. Like I want to like give me 500 people that haven't taken bio since 9th grade. And you're going to come out of this being able to take genetics or ecology or anatomy and physiology or any one of another dozen subjects, and you're going to be ready for it. Like,
so what does it cost for an out-of-stater to audit your class?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't know.
Because I can do $12 a credit in Minnesota. I've been trying to. PZ Myers is doing his embryology course. He might do it in spring.
He really?
Yeah, and if he does, he's going to do it. He might do it remote, and if he does, I'm going to get in that class. So.
That's really cool.
Because I've got the book. The book is by Wolpert. So it would be the problem with embryology is it is just a bear to get your mind around the 3D geometry of what's going on.
Yeah,
right.
It's very tricky.
And once you do that, then you've got to go a lot. You got to go into all the pathways, and it's pretty damned amazing though. So I'm taking another run at it. I've been through one textbook. I forget who the hell wrote that one, and I'm trying to go through Wolpert, the one that he went through. But I'd like to take it as a class. That would be awesome, especially from PZ. So.
Yeah. Well, so funny thing is years ago, he had a blog post on how he does like the intro bio course. And it was really influential for me because what he said is that he basically does it as like an intro to evolution course. And that was really influential for how I do it. So when I had the opportunity a few years ago, I actually kind of redesigned part of the course to be in an evolutionary context. So once we cover the evolution stuff in part 1 of the course, so it's a 2-part, fall and spring course. And once we cover evolution in the fall part, then the spring is a lot of biodiversity and then anatomy and physiology, basically. But for each group of organisms and for each system, we do it in an evolutionary context. And the way we designed that was actually heavily influenced by what he had written, what PZ had written about how he approaches that kind of thing, which is very
I think he uses Huron for his textbook for the evolutionary analysis course. Is that? I think it's Huron.
By the way, Dr. Dan, haven't you listened to my debate that I had with Artangelo?
Oh my God.
I have not. I have been so busy trying to get classes recorded and uploaded. I have been doing like almost nothing in terms of YouTube. the videos that Erica put up the other day are like the first things I've sat down and like actually listened to in like weeks. I don't know what people are doing or talking about right now. I've been just trying to get caught up in class.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, they're talking about you a lot.
Oh, I saw it. Somebody mentioned
Team
that
dodgeball.
Standing was very mad at me the other day.
Oh, he's really pissed at. Why is he so pissed at you? What did you do?
I don't know. He blocked me, so I can't even comment or nothing on his channel.
It's like Otangelo.
I thought he unblocked you.
Yeah.
Did he unblock you and then block you
I thought
again?
he did too, but then when he was doing something the other night, Atheist Jr. pinged me and was like, "Hey, by the way, they're talking about you." So I went over and said hi, and Atheist Jr. said he couldn't see my stuff in the live chat.
Really?
So so I'm still persona non grata over there.
It's like Otangelo. He got mad at me. I think he actually sent me an email and he said he was mad at me because I wouldn't say that information was immaterial. That was the upshot of why he broke up with me and why he got. And he won't talk to me. He won't answer a chat. He won't answer a direct question. One time he said, I answered on Modern Day Debate. I sent in a super chat question and he said, "I'm not answering that man. I'm not talking to him." It's like, holy shit. But he comes onto my chat all the time. And he also unsubs to my channel and then he resubs a couple days later, which is pretty funny. It's cool. So I think Evolutionist Fact asked us to go over this video. Dismantling Gutsick, Gibbon, and Joshua Swamidass on Y chromosome. I think you just did that.
Joshua what?
As much
Swamidass?
as Swamidass, he's a
Old Earth
molecular
creationist
biologist guy, and he's not old Earth creationist. He's a
Christian.
Like he leans more theistic evolution.
Theistic evolution, yeah.
So he generally disagrees with creationists and stuff, but he's still I wouldn't say necessarily fundamentalist, but he's very religious. Like it's a big part in his life.
You said theistic evolution?
Yeah,
that sounds like evolution with extra steps.
I don't think he would necessarily call himself theistic evolutionist. He probably leans more like evolutionary creationist or something, but he definitely believes that like we got here through evolutionary processes. From what I understand.
It still sounds like evolution with extra philosophically, there's not that big a difference between like a theistic evolutionist and an evolutionary creation. Like we started at something that was not human, and whether it's universal common ancestry or limited kinds common ancestry, but then through evolutionary processes, you go from that thing to what exists today. And it's a question of to what degree was there divine intervention along the way. And there's a lot of overlap there, and a lot of it has to do with like how do you classify yourself? Because, for example, if you look at like what Michael Behe says about like universal common descent, for example, he sounds a whole lot like Ken Miller, but those two are on opposite sides of the debate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really interesting. I feel like as soon as you get outside of like the YEC thing, the actual codification of beliefs is a lot murkier, right? So people can say old Earth creationist and still affirm like common ancestry, or they can say like, really anything. Like, and it's old Earth creationist can mean anything from affirms common ancestry to the world was created a while ago, but humans are only 6,000 years old, and like all life is 6,000 years old. So it's a little murky out there.
It's definitely and so. Right. On the one side, you have pure, like, naturalistic evolution, and then the other side, you have YEC. But then in between, it's tough to draw lines. It really comes down to how people classify themselves. And Swamidass is a really interesting case, I think, because I don't particularly care for this analogy, but it reminds me almost of Todd Wood, except he more presents himself as the opposite side of the issue, if that makes sense to people. Whereas Todd Wood is like saying, I'm a creationist, but here's where the evidence is, right? Swamidass kind of says like, and this is my limited, I'm only partway through the genealogical Adam and Eve. I'm like a quarter of the way through it. And I have watched some, but not all of his stuff. And, I read his stuff on Peaceful Science. And it's like he's saying, okay, here's what the evidence shows. What, therefore, can we say about this set of beliefs based on that evidence? right? It's kind of which side of thing you're going to take two things and reconcile them in some way, but it's which one do you start with, and that kind of shapes the final whatever it is you come out the other side with. I'm finding it very interesting.
Well, anyways, I have to be heading out because it's spooky. It 'tis the season, my dudes.
You're a wuss.
So, yeah. All right. Well, I will see y'all. Talk to y'all later.
See what? Oh, by the way, that OBS thing is tomorrow at 1:00 p.m.
No, he's saying that 6:00 p.m. for him would be 1:00 p.m. for Eastern Standard Time because our clocks go back.
Okay, then why did you say no when I said it's at 1?
Well, that would be EST.
He
so
didn't
it'd be,
say that's when we're
EST.
doing it. He was simply outlining that 6 p.m. for him would be 1 p.m. for us, but he wasn't saying that's when it is.
Anyways, see y'all.
Goodbye. Bye, Walker. So, Leo, sometimes you and I don't communicate. Okay, so 12 p.m. Central Standard Time is when we're doing it.
Okay.
Except our clocks are jumping forward.
He has not said when we're doing it.
Okay, good enough.
I don't know when we're doing it.
Did you freeze, Dan? Or
No, I'm here.
no?
I'm good.
Oh, you're just not moving.
I'm just
Don't scare me like that.
And unless you can do it late, because he said his daughter leaves about 6 p.m. tomorrow, which would be midnight. Well, it'd be midnight for me and you, Speed. It'd be 11 p.m. for David.
So
I
listen
can
to
do that, but I don't know if anybody else can.
So I tried as hard as I could to glean a few points from Standing, and one of them, he was talking to evolution, atheist something, what that I forget his name in chat, and he said something about, oh yeah, we admit that humans have less variation than other animals, but that's because God created more other animals. And he said this several times, where he based one time he said like God created millions of elephants, or tens of thousands of them, so they all created heterozygosity among them. But then when they got on the ark, there were only 2 elephants that hopped on the ark, and we're down to 4 alleles again.
What?
Doesn't work. But he just went right over that, and he did it again last night. And then he said, this paper here, you've got to read this paper about the Y chromosome. And he flashes a paper, and he says they wrote that whole paper because the Y chromosome is so hard to sequence. And then I read the paper, and that's not what the paper was about at all. And I'm like, and over and over. I mean, it takes me 10 minutes maybe to research each one of his little bullshit things. And every single time I hit the bottom of the container, either within 10 minutes, sometimes you have to go 30 minutes, to dig around and find the shit. But he is so confident. Why is he so goddamn confident? What makes him think like this?
When you know nothing, you're very confident about what little you know.
Dunning-Kruger syndrome, man.
Yep. God damn it, Dan beat me to it.
Sorry.
It's like they don't know enough about genetics to know how much genetics there is to learn. Like today, I learned a whole bunch of shit about the centromeres and why centromeres can be so variable. And, and it's like I've been studying genetics for like 2 years now, and I had not run into, you run into something new every day. I mean, every paper.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, but genetics is such a rapidly changing field that what you think you know might be wrong in like another 2 months.
I don't know about wrong.
Well, not wrong, but like it might change. Things might change.
Some of it, yeah, we're adding stuff. It's not that like no one's gonna overturn like Mendelian dominant recessive stuff
100%,
anytime soon.
100%. Yeah.
But like, yeah, there's always new wrinkles. And my favorite thing is when creationists with a new wrinkle are like, aha, this one debunks that. Like, no, that's just a different mechanism of inheritance. Relax, everybody. Right. Like, it's just a different mechanism. But
the thing about junk DNA. Okay, I was looking at miRNA, and miRNAs are usually exported from the nucleus, and they have a down regulation effect.
Yep.
But then I found out that miRNA also communicate between cells, and they down regulate across cells. But then I found out that miRNAs are sometimes transcribed from the middle of a goddamn intron on the opposite strand.
Sure.
And they have an effect on gene expression. So miRNAs, and next month they're going to find something else that miRNAs do, because they are ubiquitous.
Yeah,
and the whole point. I did one little thing on junk DNA with. Who did I do the junk DNA with? That was Ian Chen, and tried to explain how ridiculous. If you say junk DNA or you say no junk DNA, you're wrong both times, because as soon as you start talking about junk DNA, you're kind of wrong, because there's just it isn't. That isn't how you decide it. Basically, there is a stochastic mess inside the cells.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things going on.
Good way to describe it.
And some of these things only transcribe at a rate of 1 molecule per cell, per hour or whatever. But they can possibly fit into a biochemical pathway. And at some point, 5 years, 100 years, 1,000,000 years from now, that may be a new biochemical pathway that evolved, and you may have a de novo gene. I mean, there's so much junk going on.
I can speak from personal experience when I say that biochemistry is just a fucking mess of a field.
It is a mess.
Well, not a mess of a field necessarily, but just, boy, the chemistry gets like really complicated, especially in terms of like organization and how things get regulated.
Yeah.
That's why I really like, I don't think maybe he came up with it. I don't know if he came up with it, but he has been a proponent of this view. It's, I'm sure you all know the name, Dan Grauer.
Yep.
His way of approaching this question of functional versus non-functional is it under selection to do a certain thing? If the answer is yes, then it's functional. If the answer is no, then it's not functional. It may do a thing. It may even affect the process. But if it's
you
not
do it by
selected,
conserved and non-conserved. The only thing that makes sense is what is conserved. And then to make matters worse, there are some things that are conserved within a species, but cross species they'll vary.
Yeah.
And that's where
you draw that line.
It gets fuzzy, yeah.
Yep. And that's like what you're saying though, is you can look at de novo genes where you can find sequences that are not under selection in one species or even in one lineage within a species, but then in a different species or a different lineage, that same sequence is slightly different and it is under selection.
Right.
It may not even be strong selection. It may just be slightly detectable purifying selection, just a little bit. And then you can go, okay, this is on its way to becoming a functional whatever, right? A regulatory this, a protein coding that. Like you can say what you can characterize what it is and kind of what stage in that process it's at. And that actually kind of gets at the other thing with this junk DNA stuff, is that junk DNA, the term, is not a catch-all for we don't know. When we call something junk DNA, we're calling it that because we've looked at it and we go, that's not doing anything.
It's not conserved, or
right. It's not conserved. It's transcribed at a very low level. It has weak protein binding, or maybe it has strong protein binding, but it's histones and methylation, right?
Yeah.
And that indicates it's not doing anything because that's cramming it together and shutting it down, right? Yeah. So we have a series of things where we can go, okay, does it meet these criteria? Then it's not doing anything. And then you could assign like half the genome just based on those, like a handful of criteria to junk DNA.
Yeah, and the other thing that I tried to explain is sometimes a stretch of DNA, just by virtue of its length, it's like if you had a rope and you had to go from your car to the car in the ditch, you need a certain length of rope.
Yeah,
and sometimes it has to be just the right length. And I mean and you could call that functional in a way.
But the sequence doesn't matter, right?
But the sequence doesn't matter.
So it's non-conserved, but you just need a certain number of bases between thing A and thing B in order for it to work. Yeah.
And like for centromeres, it doesn't matter. Other than that, for some reason, it matters that they repeat, but it doesn't matter exactly what it is that repeats, because centromeres are almost transferred epigenetically. It's like an epigenetic inheritance. Basically, it goes from, it's not from the DNA particularly, it is the cell dividing with that particular centromere, and that I think it's CENT-P1 or something attached to it, and that sort of, and that's why chimpanzees have vastly different centromeres than humans. And even within humans, you'll find that sometimes within a species, you'll find a difference, a vast difference in centromeres within one cell or within one organism. So I mean, there's just all this shit. And everything they come up with, they say, oh, that's slam dunk, evolution can't happen. And what it's actually telling you is that this stochastic mess is what evolves.
Yeah. There's a lot of, and to their credit, ENCODE actually does a good job of this in their 2014 paper. They actually say, like when they're talking about transcription, for example, they actually say, look, we don't expect transcription to be perfectly regulated at the functional, non-functional line. The energy that it would take to do that and the precision that would be required is beyond what we think cells do, right? But what they say is you're going to have transcription from very functional to like occasionally does something important to no, just the remnants of some transposable whatever. And all that stuff gets transcribed at various levels from high to low, right? From like a really highly expressed gene to like a once in a while remnants of, you know, a retrovirus or something. And they actually go into some detail of like, we expect to see this variation in the level of transcription where the stuff on the high end, the stuff that's transcribed a lot and conserved, that's functional. The stuff that is less conserved and transcribed at low levels, that's probably just spurious whatever, but we're not regulating it tightly enough to make it zero. So you get stuff. And like, and to their credit, ENCODE in their later paper, everyone quotes the 2012 paper. That's the one that made the big splash. But their later papers have been a lot more precise. And to their credit, I think they actually took some of the criticism of the earlier paper to heart and were much more careful about how they describe things in their later work. And they actually go into it in some nuance. And if you go by their later work, they don't show the whole genome is functional. They don't show 80% of the genome is functional. They show maybe somewhere between 50 and 30% if you like really break down the numbers and what the genome is made of and what it's doing. And they show a whole lot of spurious activity on top of that. But they're clear that a lot of that activity that they document is just essentially just like random protein association, spurious transcription, leftovers from viruses. Like they're clear about that, but creationists don't want to hear that part.
I told you about the email exchange I had with one of the heads of that project.
Oh, really?
One of the things he told me is we no longer use the word functional. And the other thing he told me about creationists is that when you mud wrestle a pig, the pig has fun. You just get dirty.
Yep,
that's what he told me about creationists.
Yep.
And I can't use the man's name, but he's involved with it. That's what ENCODE thinks of them. So not too much. Yeah. And it's good advice for all of us, and that's sometimes what I felt like today after spending 5 hours on SFT. Oh no, Leo's going off. What's happening?
I got Aaron Ross shared that video on Neff's comment with me early, and I'm not giving it to any of you. You'll just have to wait until it gets released. I'm sorry.
Leo, we're your
come on.
No, I can't do it. You gotta ask Aaron.
Leo.
I can't Aaron and he says it's okay.
Nah, man.
I didn't make the content.
Come on, man.
I shouldn't even open my fucking mouth is the problem.
Well, who was it initially that got you connected with Aaron Ra?
Yeah, exactly. Aaron Ra just popped in to say hi to us today.
I don't know. It's a hard one because I kind of, got his email randomly. So
totally randomly.
Who did? Well, I mean, it was because it was Otangelo that brought. Who was it that brought us all? Yeah, that was Otangelo, wasn't it? Because I'm pretty sure you were in it, Immutable. I think Speed was. He brought us all into this big ass email chain, and they started to go off on us.
Oh yeah, started to put as many freaking gosh gallops as possible.
Yeah, it was. That was.
So, who here is aware of that? What is it? Twit. Whatever the twit thing is, that twit thing on that Brainbug started on sharing papers.
Oh, the Twitter revolution.
Yeah, are you in that, Dan? That share papers
thing? I think so. There's one that I joined that I got invited to recently. There's a lot of stuff to keep up with.
Okay, I've got 1,000 papers I'm going to upload, and I'm going to use I've got 2 terabytes on Google Drive, so I can be like a source for everybody. If you guys email me, I can, I've got all your emails and I can share to you, but I'm I'm not going to share to just anybody. No creationists, probably. So it'll just be the team.
Yep.
But because I got a ton of papers on everything. Anyway, this mTOR pathway I have on the screen is my example of what a mess, what a damn mess cells are. I mean, this mTOR pathway, when you try to follow it, it's just like some things are turned on so that they can turn off something else that turns off something else that turns on something that ends up turning off something else. And it's like, what in the hell were they thinking?
Well, I mean, it has to be autonomous in some way.
I mean, it's obviously pretty bad intelligent design.
I'm just looking at this thing and I'm losing. Wow, that's a. Jeez, where does it even fucking start?
All right, guys. I am exhausted and I got to get up early for work tomorrow, so I am going to head off to bed. Good night, guys.
Hey, David. Yeah, thanks for coming, Dave.
Stay tuned to that Twitter thing, because I'm sure at some point we'll be having a little lesson on OBS.
Remember to set your clocks.
I just use the clock on my phone and my laptop, so I don't have any to set because I'm not a fucking boomer.
Yeah,
I got a wall clock.
You don't have a mic.
All right, I'm gonna
Adios, guys.
I'm gonna follow suit. It's late for me. I'm gonna
Thank you,
get
Dan.
myself to bed as well. Thanks for the fun conversation, everybody.
Bye, Dan. Peace out, Dan.
Wait, is the mTOR pathway itself just the dark blue kind of stuff?
This whole thing is considered the mTOR pathway. I'm trying to figure out where. Okay, there's P10. I can't read the damn thing. It's too.
I'm just wondering where it starts.
Where it starts? That's a good question. Wnt, basically, wingless. That Wnt up there, that's wingless, attaches to the frizzled receptor, turns on DV1. Well, it depends on which path you go through, and then there's TNFA. This is the IGF. I think that has to do with carbohydrate metabolism. There are things that turn cells into suicidal maniacs, so they kill themselves. Some things turn cells into growy things, so they grow a lot. And it just depends on which pathway you follow. But there's just all of these results at the bottom, and it's all done with mTOR. Obviously evolved from very similar cell receptors and very similar signaling mechanisms, and then went into this pathway and kept doing things. This GRB, SOS, RAS, some of this stuff is used in the development of the embryo. Some of it's used in basically getting cells to divide if you have enough sugar. Some of them are used in telling a cell that it needs to die.
Alrighty, guys, I gotta take off too because I'm gonna watch this video, and then there's another stream that I'm gonna be hopping into at 11 o'clock. So.
Okay, Leo, thank you for coming.
Yep, I'm out at 5,000. You guys take it easy.
Okay, goodbye. Lucius, you want to say a few words? Want to explain yourself?
I mean, Destiny just invited me to this thing. He invited me because I was basically destroying someone in debate in one server because they didn't understand quantum theory.
Oh, so you're into quantum mechanics?
Yeah. I was basically talking about how this one study with an experiment in quantum physics was disproving Bell's theorem.
Oh.
That's... I'd have to look up on it again, because I don't think Bell's theorem has been formally disproven.
This was just like, I want to say like within the last year, so it was pretty recent. I mean.
Okay. Yeah, I'd have to look into some of the people explaining it, because I understand the basics of quantum mechanics, but yeah, especially some of the experiments they describe, it's kind of bizarre.
I'm trying to get my head around some of the math. I finally have an intuitive understanding of Brockett and basically Hilbert spaces. And a lot of the linear algebra that I used to know, I don't know anymore, apparently. Because when I sit down and start to think about it, it all falls apart on me. So I have to get my Gilbert Strain textbook out and his videos and watch it again. anyway, so I been kind of getting into it, but I do it while I'm cooking, so it's kind of a side project because genetics and embryology and fin to limb development are my main course. So, but anyway, it's always good to have somebody that understand. As far as I can tell, quantum mechanics is just a way to measure shit, just a way to calculate stuff. I don't understand.
Yeah, it's in a different way though a lot of times, and it can. I mean, quantum theory in multiple instances with different studies has disproven some of our old understandings, like some of Einstein's old theories that are now being shown that he was kind of right, but they're changed slightly from interpretation, really.
We got Renwell W asked a question. Oh, he's asking Salvador Cordova, but Sal is doing a video on SFT's channel tomorrow, and my butt is clenching.
Yeah, I've seen that Salvador is getting a lot of questions.
Yeah. Anyway, but with quantum mechanics, it seems to me that what we're doing is we're calculating fields that we can't understand in an intuitive way, given our ape-like nature. And we're trying to project that shit into macro things where it does not belong. And that's where the woo comes in. But I mean, it's all calculation. It's all mathematics and calculation of probabilities. And when you try to extend that to something that's happening at a macro scale at the temporal range that we're used to, you're not going to come up with, I mean, you're not going to be able to use quantum mechanics intuition on things throwing a rock at somebody. I mean, it's not going to fucking work.
No, he won't. I mean, quantum mechanics, ultimately the confusion with quantum mechanics isn't how in the hell do you interpret the mathematics for it.
Yeah. And you know, I don't understand why people try. Why did they try to take that world and try to make sense out of, you know, what we're used to and what's ordinary? I don't quite get it.
I think if we understand what that world is describing, I mean, if I think we understand like the fundamental language of that world, it gives us a deeper perspective on essentially the larger world around us, since those things are intimately tied to each other.
Well, I had a forum mate, and I've kind of modified this a little bit, but anyway, according to quantum mechanics, something can pass through a solid wall. Probabilistically, it could pass through, and so hence, hence, if you run into a brick wall, there's a real small possibility that you could pass through it, but you are not a fucking neutrino.
That's true.
Yeah. So for small objects, there's this phenomenon called quantum tunneling, and it predicts that as long as there's not what's called an infinite potential, so some infinite potential barrier, it is possible, because you can describe a particle as having wave-like behavior, that particle will end up on the other side of that barrier, even if it doesn't have enough energy inherently to do it.
Yeah, but you're not going to do that because you're not a fucking neutrino.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, even Einstein thought that quantum theory was kind of ridiculous and silly. He called quantum entanglement, I believe, spooky stuff at a distance or something.
Spooky action at a distance. Yeah. Spooky action at a distance.
Yeah. And at the subatomic level, at that scale, I mean, we can't think in terms of matter the way we think of matter here, or energy, or any of our other measurements. And it doesn't surprise me that it is spooky and weird. And I don't know why we would expect it to be anything other than that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So I don't understand the quantum woo and how it got to be so popular, even among physicists.
Well, it wasn't among physicists. I mean, it was among people who kind of looked into the field and was like, huh, that's kind of weird. This quantum thing is really odd. And there's physicists disagreeing about what the mathematics actually is, like, truly saying.
There will always be disagreement and argument, though, especially in that community. A main reason because, I mean, quantum theory tries to disprove a lot of old theory or just contradicts it.
Yeah, and it does it well, and it gives us orbitals, and it gives us a lot of good shit. as far as we can calculate.
You need quantum mechanics to do chemistry, and I wouldn't have a field if that wasn't true.
Yeah. So Sel is going on about zinc fingers, and tomorrow he's going to do this whole probability thing on proteins. And Sel, you are so goddamn wrong about the protein space and the probability of proper enzymatic reactions in that protein space. And that's why you guys will never quite understand evolution until you go on and start doing the figuring that we're doing. Not that we know how the fuck it works right now, but in fact, if you go and look at your favorite man, Douglas Axe's paper, look at the paper that he did 4 years before that, where he said that 25% of the protein folds or mutations or protein sequences all did the same enzymatic reaction. And he did that 2 or 3 years before he did the 10 to the 74th paper. So go read that one. Said it was kind of surprising that they took this protein and subbed out every goddamn amino acid, and 25% of them still did the thing it was supposed to do. And that was from Douglas Axe, who was a famous creationist or some evolution, some old. I'm not sure what he is exactly. What is Doug Axe? Do you know? Mutable?
I don't.
No. I know he's got Jesus in his heart. And once these guys get Jesus in their heart, they just seem to go all haywire. They just can't fucking think. It's like the Bible. The Bible.
Well, that's something I was going to bring up earlier. I mean, we were bringing up like creationist, evolutionist, and I found that over time, really, that happens more only because over time it becomes increasingly more hard to disprove things like evolution. So they're just trying to mend it with their own belief.
Yeah, they're trying to modify. Well, they keep adding things to the biblical story, like created heterozygosity, and all these things to make it somehow plausible again. They keep changing their fairy tale.
Absolutely.
Over and over again. And
go ahead.
I was listening to one of them yesterday or the other day, and they kept reading Bible passages. And it was Nicholas Whitmire. And what happens is they've got this belief in the Bible, and then they go and read the Bible passages. And every time you read a Bible passage, it's like a little nugget, like a paragraph, right? And it has some kind of a message in it. And because we see patterns in everything, you can apply that message to something that's happening in your life right now. And if they go back and every day, if they read 10 or 20 of those Bible passages and they do that, it cements their mind. It cements the belief in their mind so that their minds become like solid concrete. I mean, and there's no penetrating it because the Bible, it becomes, it's actually almost like a disease.
Yep, absolutely. They are allergic to logic. It don't work on them anymore.
Yeah, well, logic kind of, as soon as it works against them, they have to elaborate more and come up with new fairy tales so they can match it up again. So,
yeah, I just realized recently, and I think one of the political servers I'm in or something, that anti-intellectualism is getting popular now, and I didn't even know that was a thing until recently, and I'm just disturbed that it even exists.
That's my first time hearing about that.
In the United States, I think it's almost a pandemic. This anti-intellectualism. It's just and it's coming. I think like 25 to maybe even 40% of people are stuck in that. Because I'll pick a random relative up north and call them and talk about COVID, and they'll be like, oh, I don't know, it could be that they're lying to us that it's really pneumonia, or the masks don't really help. And it's like, I mean, it's just like, shit, guys, just common sense, or read the fucking statistics, for Christ's sake, that are coming out every day. I don't know. Minnesota, we're like going nuts all of a sudden with COVID cases. People that I know are getting COVID, and it's just all over the goddamn place. They're all surviving, most of them.
Within the next few years, though, we'll have some pretty good studies showing natural selection in our own environment, though.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that, like, well, I don't want to say that about Republicans. But it's like, who's going to wear a mask? I think it'll work out. I don't know. I'm staying home. Fuck it all. Mostly because I've heard about what it's like to have COVID, like a pounding headache where you can't lay down, you can't stand up, you don't want to eat, you got a fever, you feel like you're freezing to death, and you can't. It's like you're breathing glass, and you do that for about a week, and then you start to get better, and then you do it again. It's like, no, thank you. I think I'd rather watch Netflix.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Don't want that shit, especially at my age. Hey,
Go ahead.
I'm talking to my cat.
Oh, it's even worse though. When people are so like brainwashed by their own beliefs or other beliefs, like Trump, that actually do get it and then try to act like it doesn't exist or that they're not feeling the things that they do when it's pretty apparent.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of when I've done that. I must do it. I mean, we do it as humans. It's what we do. We don't need to actually have facts in order to react in a way that will keep us alive or keep us safe. I mean, like I'll start walking upstairs to make an egg salad sandwich before I realize that the egg salads that I ate the last of it yesterday. And that's sort of a false belief, but I end up at the top of the stairs and I make a ham sandwich. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something in our brains that basically if you have enough of an intuition about something, you're not going to delve any deeper into it. You'll take that intuition, and if that intuition points you in a direction that you already want to go, you are not going to analyze that belief. So you're not going to pull it down and look at it.
Absolutely. I mean, that shows pretty well in what we know about like false memories or falsifying our own memories, which basically our brains create false memories on their own subconsciously.
Yep. So Cell and Emo and Renwell W are going at it in the chat on something, but
that's always fun.
But it concerns me when people don't think well. When I catch them thinking badly, it causes me. I lose faith. I lose hope.
Same thing too. It's like I automatically judge a person.
Yeah.
Put them in a category.
Yeah, and some people that I love do this.
Oh yeah. I think it's just a state of mind. I mean, I've seen with a lot of people before of almost like autopilot. And I don't know if there's a lot of research into that actually. I'm sure there is, where basically we will just do things as we normally have instead of actually taking times to think about what we're doing or why we're doing it.
Yeah. Why the hell?
If you follow ideology, you don't need to think about anything. You're just going with the norms. It's normal.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, getting tired. Yeah. So what the fuck? Mutable. You're muted.
I am muted. What's going on?
I got into it with Smokey this morning.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Where?
On Talk's channel. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
That guy right there is a comedian. In the end, I told him, I said, Smokey, you need sex. I said that would definitely, clear your mind up from
at least
time on me. He told me I worship my genitals too much.
He apparently doesn't worship us enough then.
I know, right? He said you worship.
If he even got a proper erection, not the flaccid one that he chases those toads around the hut with, but a proper erection. I think it would make him feel better.
Something tells me that Smokey hasn't had a prostate exam yet.
I know, right? He's gonna die and flip to the other side.
What are these guys fighting about now? I should leave chat open so you guys can fight all night. What two you come in here? Fight it out. I don't know if I got the
Catholic guy isn't the live chat anymore.
He's not.
No.
What the hell's his story? He didn't really have one. He just said a bunch of stupid shit and left.
Who?
Catholic something or another. What is he called?
No one remembers. I don't think we
Traditional
did that.
Catholic or something like that.
So at
I
least
thought
he's,
I thought he was like Catholic creationist or something, but I don't remember.
oh my
Yeah,
God.
Catholic traditionalist.
He
Oh,
called
there
me
you
the atheist experience.
There he is.
Hey, Sal, how you doing?
By the way, I remember you from our debate in Paul Tack. I demolished you in that debate. He's talking to the rage.
Yep.
Yep. I don't think so. I don't think so. Ellen Watts made the point that if you're going to be a Christian, you should be a Catholic because they have like richer symbolism and ritual and stuff. And it is kind of fun. I mean, Catholic churches are like scary places. So, yeah. So me and my friend became after we were into Zen Buddhism. In Zen Buddhism, there is a practice where you adopt a belief, and you wear it like a loose-fitting cloak. So we became Catholics for a whole summer, and we had fun with the Bible. And I mean, it was really a cool thing. We had some really interesting things happen to us, and
Were you getting on the Catholic nuns?
we didn't actually touch other Catholics
Okay.
or each other. I want to make that clear.
All right. Well, just making sure. Okay.
Okay. But we basically had, we had a very spiritual summer and it was cool. And then in the fall, we just said, okay, fuck this. And we just took the cloak off and quit believing it. But it was interesting because we
up for longer, but okay.
Because we went through the Bible and we found all these like really arcane metaphors and stories, and we tried to knit it into something, and we just had a great time. So I think we were about maybe 16. That was the summer I was 16. So next summer I was fucking married and had a kid.
Screw that.
And if I hadn't gotten married and had a kid, I would have been in Vietnam getting my ass shot off or getting hooked on heroin. Or both. If you're going to get your ass shot off, you want to be on heroin. Sure. Yeah.
So I don't know how I got caught up in this. Anyone know Brett King? Brett King?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Him and Smokey had a falling out now.
Yeah. Anyone knows Von Helton or something like that?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Von Helton is a strange motherfucker.
Yeah, I got in a stream with Brett King, Veckel, and Von Helton, and we were talking about. I went over there to talk to Veckel about being black and all that other stuff, and just to make fun of him a little bit. But they started talking about politics. Then they got into religion, and Veckel left. And I had Brett King and Von Helton trying to preach to me, telling me what to do to save my soul, like why I should believe in God, and they're trying to guide me back into the truth. I was like, what the fuck? Like, how the fuck?
Oh my God.
Did they throw herbs on you and dance around the fire and shit like that? And
they was preaching about intelligent design and that's God and all kind of foolishness about then they went into politics. I got every little bit of it and how Trump is an amazing person. Yeah, I had an interesting day.
So Cell thinks fucking genes have a universal common ancestor one gene. And he thinks that did you see this? So email denies universal common ancestry for all genes and proteins. Yes, we do. It wasn't just one gene. It wasn't just one protein sequence.
No, it couldn't have been. I mean, that
it wasn't even a single. I mean, and there was no like single one-celled animal. It was a monstrous mass of churning fucking shit in the ocean. And we may have had like. You may make a case for a universal common eukaryotic cell. That might have happened, but not a gene. I don't know what he's talking about. So what do we got? Proteins traverse sequence space and acquire new functions over time through. Yeah, and that sequence space is quite thick with function. It's thicker than they think. They think it's sparse. They think the entire protein has to be laid out just exactly, just so, in order for it to have a function. And that's not how proteins work. If it did, there wouldn't be any life on Earth. So I don't know where they get this idea that they can sit down with an envelope and do a probability calculation on 20 to the 150 and come and say, oh, all those things had to happen randomly. No, not the way it worked. People, fucking people. Anyway. What else up, guys?
Not much.
Nothing much.
So that was on Togg's. Is that called This One Guy? Is that his channel?
Yeah. Those Christians are so unique. Like if you want to talk to some Christians that are like reasonable, go to those guys right there. They at least open up and they can admit when there's some fault in their religion, but they still accept it. I don't know why, but they're reasonable to talk to.
Well, they just got to read the biblical passage the right way, and they'll have it all figured out.
Oh my! They go into translation. I'm like, yeah.
What kills me is how dark it all is. I mean, it's like they have children, and they're actually excited about, if the apocalypse killed their children about, at age 10. I mean, that excites them.
So crazy.
I mean, how dark do you got to be about life? And then their problem with matter and the flesh. I mean, the flesh is such a horrible thing. And like matter is so evil. I'm channeling Nicholas Whitmire. Evil.
They almost want to make humans not animals. Like I think when a person is going through their like puberty, right? Their hormones are so out of whack, especially like sexually as well too, and they're confused. Just like any other animal, like when a cat is in heat, a dog is in heat, they just
right.
Apparently, with Nicholas though, that emotional sensitivity aspect has not dropped at all.
He's still got it. That's.
It seems to have actually grown stronger for him with age.
He's still dealing with his adolescence.
He learned to harness the power. That's all.
I wonder. Oh, that would be a great. Wow, we could write a paper if we took 100 Christians and neutered them.
Oh God,
would they drop their belief? I mean,
they'll
above greater than chance. We could do a statistical study on this and see if they did that.
This sounds like a Zimbardo study. You sure this wasn't done?
Was it? No, I haven't heard this one. I think we should do that. My plan is to march them into I call them condensation camps.
Oh God.
And I had that approved by legal. They said I could use that. And then we can do these experiments on them. I mean, we do lots of experiments.
I don't know if the ethics board is going to allow that.
A very small area.
What's that?
You'll just be condensing people into a very small area.
Texas.
Well, that's not a very small area.
That's pretty big. We'd have room. I got a feeling that right now they'd fill the fucking state up.
And isn't like there a statistic about Texas that you could fit all the world's population in like one city of Texas? Or something like that?
Probably. It's pretty sparse. But Austin doesn't want them. Austin is like an island of liberalism in the middle of the seething conservative. What's going to happen after when the Civil War starts? They're going to go and kill Austin.
Probably
attack Austin because it's like a liberal island. It's pretty amazing, but I don't know. And how would you build a wall around Christians that would be impenetrable? What would you use? I mean, other than the Cuties movie, posters from the Cuties movie. What's that?
Red clothing or fiber of any kind.
Oh yeah. Jen Aldrich's boobs.
There you go.
In red. Yeah, that would do it. Just fucking wrap it around. That'd be pretty cheap to build a wall.
The whole thing.
Are we live? Oh my God, we are.
We are.
We've been live.
How many things have I said in the last 20 minutes?
Nothing crazy.
Quite a few.
So wonder they let us do this shit online. I'm watching a movie called The Barrier. It's about Spain, like 2050, 2060 Spain, and after World War III, and it's like this super fucking fascist government, and it's only really hard to watch. But but man, that could happen. Ian Chen has something really important to say.
Who? Oh,
okay. This channel does not advocate boobs.
Why not?
My lawyer told me no.
You gotta quit it. You worship your genitals too much.
Yeah, worshiping genitals. Well, boobs aren't genitals.
They're still going at it.
Yeah, they're still going at it. Admit you actually deny universal. Yes, we deny universal common ancestry for proteins. What the fuck? If you can deny UCA for genes, who's stopping UCA for anything else? Well, it's more complicated than that when you get up to the cell level. Cell. I don't understand why Cell would think that we thought all genes derive from one gene.
I don't know. I think he may be trying to say that it's logically inconsistent, but that's not how that works.
Yeah, that he is. Yeah, but I don't know.
I'm surprised that Cell is taken biochemistry because different protein domains handle like different functions in a cell. Yeah. So they wouldn't have universal common ancestry. They would have different ancestries. Like you would have various like original versions of genes that perform specific functions and encode for specific proteins, but you wouldn't have like all genes and proteins stem from one original branch point.
No, there were probably thousands or tens of thousands of different proteins and genes that were biochemically active that all kind of developed all at once and then started transferring one organism to another. Even the eukaryotic cell, there probably just wasn't just one cell. There was probably a little piece of this and a piece of that, and they kept basically fucking, I don't know, merging, eating each other, whatever. Too tired to think about it all right now, but no. No, I see it as if you look at Demeter's idea, all of those mRNAs, you know, churning and popping up by the billions and quadrillions in all these different conformations, you're going to end up with a whole lot of universal or a whole lot of common ancestors for a lot of genes. So I don't quite understand. Salvador Jesus. Wait a minute. I didn't know he was Jesus.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, they're having a good talk. Almost hate to
Yeah, they are.
I've been trying to look into the zinc finger domain. Robust to point mutations has proven useful in designing new DNA binding proteins. Yeah, I think it is. There are a lot of point mutations you can make in a zinc finger. And it is ubiquitous. I started looking into that a few weeks ago, and then I got distracted. But you guys, you distracted me.
We distracted you. It's all our fault.
I do blame you. Oh, I didn't ask. Leo should have got his book. I didn't ask him if he got it. It's quantum physics. Or no, he's going to get it Monday, I think. There's a really good book on quantum mechanics, Lucius. Called that. What the fuck? Who wrote it? Hang on a second. Oh, shit. There it is. It's by Leonard Susskind and Art Friedman. It's called Quantum Mechanics Theoretical Minimum, What You Need to Know to Start Doing Physics. and it doesn't assume a whole lot of physics knowledge.
I can look into it.
Yeah, it's only about $20 with shipping. So
Yeah.
and he gets into Brockett notation very quickly and into Hilbert spaces and a bunch of other
Try to
stuff.
get some linear algebra under your wing before you do that.
Yeah,
Trying to get what?
linear algebra.
Yeah.
No,
It'll
I've
save
been
you
learning
right
that
now.
for years now.
You what?
I said I've been learning that for like years now.
Do you know about Gilbert Strang?
Probably not.
He's got a MIT internet series. And he's an MIT professor, and he wrote a textbook on linear algebra, and he is very, very good. There's his name. And I will try to link. Where the fuck is my fucking messages?
I'm gonna get going.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, he has a really good series on linear algebra. He is a very good teacher. It takes a lot of energy to watch the whole thing because he starts at the beginning, but then he rolls through it pretty damn fast. Let me find you a thing. Where's Leo? Because I sent it to Leo not too long ago. I should be able to spot it here. It's a YouTube series that he did. I think he retired from teaching at MIT. Here it is. Let's see, copy. I'll put it in chat so you can link to it.
All right.
He retired, and then he did this whole course. He put it online, and it's won awards and everything. It's pretty good. So it's a playlist. It's pretty cool. Yeah. They made him a cupcake matrix with zeros and ones. It's kind of cool. Anyway. Okay, I'm going to end this, and we'll go backstage for a minute, okay?
All right.
Okay, goodbye, guys. Sorry about you two chatting. Sel and Emo, let's get you two on my channel and talk. How about that? Can you guys work that out? Email me. Anyway, goodbye, all. And goodbye, Stupid Horror Energy, and the other ones that are still hanging on.